Okay, welcome back to the 435th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Mr. Kesh, are you ready to begin the second part here now?
Yes. Are we ready to go?
How would you like to begin this?
Yes, ready to go. Hello, Rick. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you make me again a co-host on the second line, please?
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, are you going to take questions now, or do you have a further teaching you'd like to impart?
We answer the questions about the flights simulation for about half an hour or so, and then we go into the teaching. Today, time will be a little bit maybe longer, or about 4 hours or whatever. Do we still have that 4-hour limitation on one of our platforms?
The only limitation I think on that is, I'm not sure whether it's 3 or 4 hours now, is in the automatic transcribing that occurs through YouTube. And if it's over 4 hours, I think it doesn't allow the automatic transcription, which makes for a little more work. And the automatic translations then are not available either.
Yeah, okay. Let's see what we can do. Before we go any further, just as part of what we were talking, we will go live on Monday from the Keshe Foundation Center in Linz. For those of you who want to see when what we call our motions come out of the system, if they allow us to show the whole process as they go in before you go in and when they come out, that's the prerogative. But we'll be there live around about, the first person will go in around about 10 a.m. in the morning through the first process. And then after 11:30, every half an hour, the process of putting the next 9 people through the system. And you can explain your way. Maybe we open the lines, you can ask questions from those who've been through the process. How did they feel? Did they feel anything? Or as we have one of our knowledge seekers, whatever we do, there is no emotion. There is no feeling. I don't feel anything. Put it in the center of the most strongest, why didn't I feel anything? What am I sitting here for? And we watch the other people with emotion to go through it. So on Monday, as we've always been very open with our works, you around the world become part of the technological development and the change in the human race. We don't know what to expect. We don't know what commitment the soul of the motions have who go through the process. And in a way, it's very many of us will watch it. And we try to keep this process live. We try to keep this process every day that it can be broadcasted. One of our, what we call knowledge seekers who always been with us, Dean, will be asked to broadcast, be with us in the center, to carry this emotion. We have set up a small corner for interview that you can explain what you went through, but we do not interfere during the process. You cannot jump in when you're putting the suit on to go into the dive. So we are bold enough, we are eager enough, and we are correct enough to share as our knowledge seekers, if they want to go through it. What we call flight center will not be shown. The flight room will be kept what we call secure. And we already have the 6th, the 7th, and other days booked to come in within what we want and come in. bring the data of your race to be added to the race of the completing this program, that mankind can go to the others. We use a specific progress development that the knowledge within these systems will be shared with the next system. It's like putting a magnet amongst magnets. When we bring in new systems into the enhancement center in NENS, they automatically will share the data which they carry with the next unit. When you come into the center, you will see 2 units inside, which is now, and 2 units are set outside that they'll be loaded in the next few weeks, and the 4th system will run parallel. Then we increase the number to 20 to 40 a day. We have invited NASA scientists to join us. They'll be live online when you come out. The Iranian officials will be online. The American officials will be online. The Chinese administration people and scientists will be online. People from all walks of life will be online. They'll watch it through YouTube or what I call VPN channels, but you'll be there. And I would like to see what Mr. Musk thinks when it's all messed up, or when it's all messed up for what they planned. The slavery of the man through technology is a heinous crime. And you have to understand, no race has that privilege, not even the creator himself. Please ask questions and we try to answer.
Okay, we've got a question in the YouTube from Harnu about will these units store the emotion of the brain?
Yes. Man does not carry anything but emotion. Of course, that's the whole purpose. That's why we told you about Universal Council. Through Universal Council, a common language will store that emotion, common emotion of the race. This is why we went to the Germans, because Austria is all German speaking and they're coming in busloads every day to add to the knowledge. I thank the German community for such a solid support. We are home in Austria. The headquarters of the Keshe Foundation worldwide now has moved to Austria. And maybe, as I said, through the development of this technology in Austria and Germany, we forget about what happened in the last what they call century through Germany. And we become proud to be German. And as the developers of the new technology, maybe that's why, as I said, we came to the home of Hitler, not to repent, but to put things the correct way, the right way. And maybe the reason for him to be here was for us to come to bring the beauty of the creation through the same city as he brought so much misery to man. We are thankful to the German community and the government of Austria to allow this technology to flourish. Any other question?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. A question from Najib from Algeria. Mr. Keshe, how flying it out of the Earth will allow the passenger to return to Earth? How will they recognize the planet Earth?
You know, we let you do the bungee jumping, but we keep the end of the rope. We know how to get you back. Don't worry about that part. As a human, you sat in the machine. We gave you control to hold. As a human, you left your fingerprint of your protein everywhere. We got you by the tail. Don't worry, you're not going very far.
Yes, the problem is more how to stay off the earth, I think, than how to get back to it.
There is no problem. You'll find the wish will bring the dimension. It's very strange. Some of you will go in and you come back and tell us how the birds feel because you really wanted to fly like a bird when you're in the machine. And we understand more because the birds cannot speak their emotion. We will understand the emotion of the birds. Why do they do things? Some of you love your dog so much that you, for us, when you come back for the first time, we listen to the language of what this means when the dogs do these things. You love your cat. You love a painting. A painting is not just a color on the wall. It's made of atoms. It has an emotion. You learn a lot of new things. And then we add it together. We are there to bring the change. But the change is for you, not for us. Don't be afraid of going some places, not coming back. Be afraid of what you see in the new place. You can handle it. Any other questions?
I remind our attendees here in the Zoom part that they can raise their virtual hands and then we can allow you to speak. There's still some confusion, I guess, about on the flight system. 777 Palina on YouTube says, do I need to be in Linz or can it be done from, say, Australia once the fee has been paid to enter? Or do I have to board a slow plane and be physically there?
There are two bookings. One is for those who are in Europe and they can get to Linz. We go through that process first. Then you book in for the flight from Australia to here. That will be announced. It says on it, it'll be announced when it'll take place. We have to complete one part to bring the other part. And then when we start or about to start flying people from all over the world to Linz and turning it, we have to, there's a lot of work for our people here in Austria. We have to get authorization from the Austrian government. The inspectors have to be, they might tell us, please go to the airport, set the machine up, or we come to our center. We have to do everything legally. And then we bring you to the next step. Then we go for what we call international flight, that you don't need to come to the center. Then we have the agreement of government that we allow from Beijing to New York and where they will land. And then I'm sure the developers will come up with the systems of delivering new systems of tracking. Or one of the most beautiful things with this is you'll come to see the balance of the taxation across the world. I've seen this a long time ago when I used to go travel around the world as a businessman, that there is no tax haven for anybody to hide. In a way, you can live anywhere. We all pay the same taxes. And a percentage of taxes goes to Keshe Foundation for development of the technologies and other things. And then we bring what we call one planet, one nation, one race. The key to the change will come when we get unified taxation across this planet. In a way, taxation is acceptance of the services. In the next few days, in a handful of weeks, you will hear that Keshe Foundation has become part of, as a board member, honorary board member, of building the first 4 advanced cities on this planet, financed by nations. We are there that everything which is done according to the science of 21st century and what the Keshe Foundation sees in it. We are advisors in building of the 4 newest cities in the world. We are there, and we thank our people that are here amongst you. They know when it is and what it is. You will see the Keshe Foundation being part of the development of new cities. That, what we call the old and new put together. And we have asked our people to keep it all. People who know, we have received our invitation, we have received our whatever, and you will hear the Keshe Foundation will be, and we have this with 2 or 3 other countries, that is coming up, building space cities, cities which have no limitation of physicality. And then we go to see what's the next step. I've asked them, people who are here on board, please do not reveal this till it's announced in the press and is shown in what we call public. Any other questions?
More people are concerned about implants, and especially Jefferson mentions dental implants. So those who have dental implants, can they enter the units?
Yes, yes, yes. That, because dental implants is a different thing than other implants. And even pins, if you have a small pins in the bone connection, you don't have a problem. But if you have implants in heart, if you have pacemakers, if you have Parkinson computerized system in under your skin, if you have inbuilt ear system, we advise you for the time being, no. Especially if you have valves, even if you have a pig valve, we prefer you not to. If you have we had a question from Azar this morning, women with breast implants, they had a cancer and then silicone. At the moment, we advise you not to, but there is a technology we can transport you. But that at this moment is only available if you do that for you on Earth. Because we take you as you are, we deliver a package. And in one of the teachings last night or this week, I explained how it works. We know this from what we call the tests which are done in European EU, what we call center in Brussels. This is so Dirk. We were invited to give a speech about this new technology to the European Parliament, and they took one of our materials and they put it under the X-ray system, and it says doesn't show anything is here. In a way, we black box you. But if you black box you on the condition of Earth, we can only deliver you on Earth. So you can go from New York to what do you call it, Beijing, but at the moment we prefer not to deliver you on the moon because we have not gone through the evolution of understanding the work of or setting up of the structure that on the moon you convert into the dimension of the fields of the moon. And then you end up as a man and there is no air. It'll be interesting how in the near future, using the old technology of the rocket propulsion and the space lab, people will go to space into the lab and bungee jump into the space and see what they become. It will happen. It's inevitable it will happen. Americans and Russians will make a lot of money from this space lab, where people go in with the system and in elevation of the soul, they jump into the deeper space. Would you become a Jedi? Would you stay as a man? It will be an interesting time for us to come to see. But at the moment, we prefer to keep people with a shoulder, hip, if you have a fused spine, all out of it. If you had a heart problem, we would like you to be out of it. And then please, when you go in, leave an address where you plan to go, that we know where you are. we can bring you back, but the way we want to check when you get there if you arrive there. Any other question?
Yes, we have a couple of questions about the flight tests and the number of people. Steph says she's booked her flight basically during your talk here, and wants to know how many have booked up to now.
Yeah, and I'll really put it this way: we are well booked. We are well booked. Keshe Foundation never releases data. We are well booked. Most of the people will, unless there is one or two places left, we are into third and fourth week, some of you now.
Okay.
We have people who are booking into the June and July, so those are getting filled up too. But our main interest at this moment of time, because we have enough people coming through, is the booking on mobile system. Please book it. We need to come in. If we receive a booking with no payment, we just cancel it, because we had this experience in Eindhoven, people just booking to block. We don't accept the block. Unless there are people we know, they tell us they're coming, they're knowledge seekers we know very well, that they want to do it. We have 2 or 3 of them who want to do it. Yes, we accept. We have from England, we have from Romania, we have from another country. These are people we know very well for some situations. They want to bring for us to accept, we accept because we know them very well. But if you make a booking just to block us and there is no payment, forget about it. We will get a lot of people booking even in the shop, in the store. They book goods, but then they pay for it, and they hope that we ship it for them and they get away with it. So it has to be complete, the cycle, and the Keshe Foundation team will respond to you, your time allocation, when it's allocated for you to be in, and stick to the allocation time. Because when you miss it, we leave at 5 o'clock every day. So make sure everything is done, your emails, your communication. Before you arrive, you have to have a time of going to the system. You can't just arrive, I'll go there and get through. You'll be sitting outside for weeks. We make sure that people who respected the work will receive the work.
So Azar's question regarding that would be, Mr. Keshe, are you going to stop the flight test after 200 people, or are we going to test for month after month? So someone coming in December can still enter the system?
The 200 is for those who are outside. They cannot come to Linz. The one flight test in Linz, we're expanding the numbers, and in a way we can go for 10 years because this knowledge has no end. But then we spread the systems into Arizona, which is our headquarters, into our offices in Tehran, in our building in Beijing or in Jinjiang or other places, and to our structure in Mexico and Brazil. We won't leave any nation out, but the Linz as a headquarters of development will stay that way. We don't close it, but if we see dwindling of numbers, we just stop the process because we gather enough information in the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Some people are trying to push to come in July. We try to accommodate, but the 200 for that called mobile has to finish. It's got nothing to do with the test from Linz up. It's important for us to be able to bring back in and see how efficient, how fast, if everything's set up. When we send you out, we have your tail, as I said, with the bungee jumping. When you're out, how we bring you in is important for us. We need everything to be tested. It doesn't matter when you're on the flight path. If you become a blind spot in one of the satellites, you won't end up in the ocean or somewhere. You land with us. Everything is set. The knowledge is complete. It's just our people learn and then replicating the systems. Any other question? We most probably bring a halt by the end of July, August to flights from Linz, and we go into the mobile test. We are not here to offer a service. We are here to gather information and data that we can do our job properly. Any other question?
Okay. Still don't see any hands up here.
That's good.
We did.
Knowledge seekers understood everything. That's the first.
We did have. I'm just looking to see on the list. Ruthie was here before, but now it's not. Oh, there she is in the panelists. So I'm not sure if she wanted to say something or just wanted to be transferred to the panelists. Oh, we've got two hands up now, and we have Neil Howe, who had a question as well, so he can ask it personally. Could you go ahead, Neil?
Hello, Mr. Kesh. It's Neil
Hi,
from
Neil.
Australia.
Hello, our kangaroo team. How are you, Neil?
I'm still here.
That's good.
Many years ago, I met the Dalai Lama and learned about astral traveling and how the monks can park their bodies in retreat and travel. And going through my journey of experiments, I've learned how the fields have worked and how they interact. This is the same thing that they discovered themselves through their own routines. Am I correct in that?
Do you want which way? Do you want me to sensationalize it, or do you want the fact?
Just the facts.
The fact. The elevation of the soul of the man and doing what now we try to bring is not exclusive the application issue. In the passage of time, many people from race of the man and other races have elevated to understand this and have managed to do it. Sometimes they do it with cheating, sometimes they do it because they know what they're doing. As you remember, we had that huge religious leader of India with, I think, 50 million followers, and he was getting a status because he could pass 21 days, and I showed him the cheat in the Sansano, and he had no value. But if you go back to people, somebody who did this perfectly, and I watched him, was Buddha. As a person, he completed the cycle of understanding of the separation of the soul and the man. The rest tried it sometimes, and it didn't work. And sometimes in the knowledge of what we call the passage of time, some of the, what we call prophets, reached to understand it, but they couldn't complete it. So it's not exclusivity. And some people read it and they talk about it as they've done it themselves, but when you ask them to do it, they don't know how. They are preachers and not the teachers. And there's a big difference between a preacher and a teacher. And this process is not exclusivity. We are not, the minute we claim we are the only one, is the end of the work of the foundation. The progressive development of man or the races of the Creator is endless. And we are here always as messengers, not claiming to be the owners.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
Okay, we have Salamia next. Go ahead, Salamia.
Hi, hello, Mr. Kesh. Happy birthday, Rick. Hello, everybody.
Oh, Rick, is it your birthday today?
Of Rick?
Well, now that you mention it, yes.
Oh, happy birthday. Happy birthday. We don't say how many years you are, how old you are.
No, we don't talk about that so much.
Happy birthday.
You have a small poem on the chat for you dedicated is Flying on the Moon with the help of transmutation at the soul level, like a butterfly. And I hope everybody will enjoy. It's a small poem and is dedicated also for the fly system. My question is related with my own experience before speaking to Mr. Kesh. I had an experience with some colleagues from Romania, from Bragadiru team. They invited me to go with them in a travel at the soul level with a spaceship created by our own soul. And we give appointment at 1 o'clock in the night. And not surprising.
Can I tell you something? From what we have seen from Brigadier Group in the past few weeks, we put no credibility in their work.
Yeah, but you believe in me because I never tell lies.
I just tell you, I know, but Brigadier Group in Romania, very good people, but they claimed the lots didn't deliver, and when it came, we put them to point. They found excuses. So please, I try to make this very clear. The Brigadier Group in Romania, we have not seen any credible work with them.
I'm sorry for this, but
thank you very much. Do you have anything else?
Just let me to ask my question.
Okay, ask your question.
Yes, and I was able to travel.
I do not want to go through there. Let me explain. Let me explain to you something. Do you have anything else to tell? No. Can we have another question? We respect you as an honorable member of the Education Foundation, but the group has no credibility, and I told them the same a couple of days ago. You remember we had the Japanese who came and did a lot of things, and when it got to the point, when we got to the last final point, they were forced to lie and cheat because of after the American passport with the American government. We see the Brigadier Group in the same way, unless they can do and show other ways. And it's a shame to see them associating themselves with the work of the Keshe Foundation. Do we have any other question, please?
Sorry, I wasn't able to listen to you because I was interrupted some internet problems.
Do you have any other
Yes, I have a question. Yes, do you know the color of Venus or Mars? Because I have seen a orange, dark orange color. I never landed, but just I have seen this color, and I don't know which planet it is. It was my impression was Mars, but
I think Wikipedia can tell us that. Rick, would you like to go there and see what color is
Venus? Venus. And, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
For this reason, I came to meet you personally because I had this experience, and I know that all technology is inside us. So we are the technology. And if we want to discover new technology, we have to discover our own human being structure and function and interaction of the both souls. If we have internet outside, we have internet inside. All what we have outside, we have inside. And also this flight system is inside ourselves. And if we want to utilize this technology we have to understand, and you understood. And congratulations, because you understood this, and you
Are you
offer
there?
now to humanity.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr.
Yes.
Salameh.
Yes,
Thank
for
you very
this
much.
reason I came.
Thank you. She's got a bad internet. Rick, do we have any other questions?
Yeah, well, you wanted the picture of Venus here, so I was just trying to bring that up. And it's
I don't know what
it's-
color is it.
they say it's a nearly featureless and colorless sphere with a uniform cloud cover. So it's basically sort of white, you might say, or in visible light. That's what we see.
Ah, thank you very much. Any other question?
Okay. Jackie asks in the Q&A, when we arrive by way of mobile, will we be naked or will our clothes come with us?
That'll be interesting. Very interesting. I explained that, I think, in one of the discussions in last week. If you come from Australia, sitting on the beaches of the ocean and enjoying your time, and you end up in New York Central Park, where it is winter and the snow, how would you turn up? Would you carry the suitcase with you with the winter clothing, or would you be clothed to the physicality of the man? And a lot of you will see you end up with a new feature that the new environment gives you what you need. You won't end up with what we call it good. You will see your soul will adapt to the presence of time and space. This is how you will change in the space. If you wear cotton clothing when you go to Mars, excuse me, is a protein base and has no existence on the Mars. You'll be as naked as a parrot. But do you see shame in the life because you will not be the shape of a human being because you adopt the environment of time and space? You got a lot to learn. But you have to understand, the soul of the man will not put man to shame. So that should not be your concern. Any other question?
Hassan had asked, will we see regrowing of amputated body parts?
We shall see. I've answered this to a group of doctors in the past, but we shall see. Don't forget, we use this technology to grow parts. Many of you, if you go through some tests prior to what do you call entering the systems, you will know if you come or you're part of the structure of this planet or you're a guest at this planet. You know the physicality of man, and you will see deviations from that physicality, which adjust to live on this planet. And if you go from soul to physicality and same soul to another physical, that change will carry on because the soul has to exist in the environment of presence of time. And many of you who are passengers of the universe and being here, you will see this. Be ready for a lot of new things and do not dismiss with this new technology, with this new knowledge that we release as a technology. Be open-minded and respect the work and the presence of the others. Some of these people have been with us and they brought us a lot of good. And we don't remember it because we thought they are humans. But they could not do anything but just to bring the cycle of man in a progressive way. And they have contributed a lot to the advancement of the human race.
Hello,
Okay.
Mr. Cash.
Oh, go ahead.
Hi, Lynn, how are you?
Good. Because for poor connection of the internet, maybe I missed some information. Is that you mean you have to choose the way of to connect with mobile phone? Even I was in Beijing, I also can apply in the project and go to.
Yes, yes, and come to Lynn's in a few seconds.
So in China, we all can do that because, you know, just a couple of weeks ago, China government has announced like very strict policy to go abroad for the visa application. So that means all the Chinese, if they like, they can, if they have their mobile phone and they can book the tickets.
Yep, we love to have you here. We love to have the Chinese.
That's good.
That's good. There is no corona.
That's great. That's a very good news because I was wondering what is that, and it's just so good to hear you clarify that.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to be
Yes.
in Link.
Thank you very much. We go through the process. We have to complete the first cycle, and then our team has to understand it. Keshe Foundation scientists are there. We just don't put you in the machine and go away. We are there to gather information. We are there to gather data. We are there for our central brain system in each system to gather information and see what is gathered. What is the knowledge? Where do we go and how we go? This is not a show you buy a ticket just to go to the show and we have an operator there running it. We collect the data you give us. That's important to us. And you'll be set in a, what do you call it, sequential system to go in. But I advise you, if we see anyone touching any of our system, your term is finished. Because we don't want a fingerprint on these systems. Even our technicians wear gloves that they leave no fingerprint. Any other question?
Okay, we've got Alexander. Could you go ahead next, please?
Alô?
Hello?
Tá me ouvindo?
Brazilian? Portuguese? Or Spanish?
Rafael, consegue traduzir?
Yeah, Rafael is translating. Rafael is in a fish tank, as we call it. Yes, just wait. Is John about, please?
Okay.
Just wait.
About
Is John?
Danilo, I just put up a hand.
Yes.
Let's see if John is here. John Wells, yeah.
John, can you translate for us?
Ok. Posso falar?
John, can you hear us?
I'm just recuperating my microphone. Yes,
Okay.
I don't understand the Portuguese 100%, but I'll
Well,
try
do we
and
have
learn
any
it.
from the Portuguese language from Brazilian
Yeah,
group with us?
Danilo's
Ra-
very good.
Danilo or Raphael has a hand up now too, actually. So I'll let
Okay.
them both talk and they can figure it out.
Okay.
Okay, agora. Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, Rafael. Can you see what we need to add to knowledge, please?
Yes. Ok, Alexandre, pode falar, por favor.
Ok, primeiramente, bom dia a todos, bom dia, Rick, e quero também dar os parabéns a você, e muito obrigado por poder ter essa oportunidade aqui, senhor Mr. Cash. A minha pergunta é bastante simples. Uma pessoa, de repente, um assassino, um bandido que tenha feito algo muito ruim, ela entrando na máquina, o que vai acabar acontecendo com a pessoa? É só isso, Rafael. Obrigado.
So, first of all, Alexandre say, happy birthday, Rick. Thank you for everything. And his question, he says, very simple, my question. A person who is a murderer, when this person enters the unit, what happened with this person?
We cannot refuse because by going to the system, he could be elevated. We are not there to judge. He will know the interaction with the system himself. We are not there to judge. As I said, the world leaders who commit crimes, they're never walking. So it's for the soul of the man to decide the entry of the man.
Rafael?
He's translating on the Portuguese channel.
Se você quiser, eu posso ajudar, Alexandre.
Oi, tô aqui, pode falar, Alexandre.
Dando continuidade aqui à minha pergunta, como a pessoa, no caso que de repente tenha feito coisas ruins, ela vai conseguir lidar com ela mesma, com as emoções dela, depois de tomar essa consciência de tudo que fez?
Okay. So the question of Alexandre is how this person will handle herself or himself by dealing with the consequence of it was shown to this person in the units.
We were not there when the crime committed, but the soul was. And it's between him and the soul. It's physicality and the soul. We are not there to judge. There are no courts in the universe.
Ok. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Very good.
Mr. Cash, can this unit help the person to remember past Earth experience?
If it is in the dimension of the soul of physicality, yes. If the soul of the physicality wants to remember, wants to release the memory, yes. It's not going, what they call, reincarnation or reviewing or going to the past. Is the memory of the past, if it's there and there's a reason for it to be added. Any other question? You got to realize nothing is hidden in this structure from the soul of the man and soul of physicality. And they don't lie to each other. It's the physicality which lies, but not the soul of the man. Any other question?
Okay, a question in the, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, John here again.
Yes.
If we've got a person with diabetes type 1 or 2 that goes along now to have this experience, will he come back recuperated from his ailments?
Shall we ask for those who go in, because we ask people what their condition is before they go in? You ask them live. When we get people out of the system, if they want to go live to share, to elevate the knowledge of the others, it's a live, interactive Zoom sessions from Monday. Whenever you see the Zoom call goes open, try to get in. We don't announce what time it's going to be that we have to run a show. We do our things, and when we see it's the right time, we open the channels. We could be open anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Okay, a question in the chat here in the Zoom from Farzam. Question is about the explanation of the alpha, beta, and gamma rays. Are there plasma, any of the elements in a special condition can release one of them or not? I guess, can the plasma of an element release one of them, is what you say?
Every element we have releases full spectrum of the radiations in the universe, from hydrogen to plutonium and above. It's just that you have to get it in the condition which it releases it. If you go back to the space reactors of the Keshe Foundation, which we tested, and it's in the patterns, we create ionization, what we call centralization, through the interaction of the helium. We can produce X-ray from water. And we can produce gamma rays and cosmic rays from hydrogen. Not tritium. I can get gold to produce so much radioactive material that you don't want to be near it. This is what we tested in the space reactors in Iran. This is how I handle high-rich nuclear material by hand. I know how to deactivate them through my blood circulation and through the fields I create. Every element has a capability, and not a capability, actually does release a full spectrum of all the fields, radiations of the universe. It's not just because you see water as a water. Sometimes the water you touch as a water you drink is the most lethal weapon in another part of the universe because it releases radioactive material, radiation. It is what we perceive through the lack of knowledge today. Always said, if you ever get to see the Iran senior scientists who were monitoring my work in Tehran, I never wear gloves, I never have a fear of handling nuclear material. I learned at a very early stage, in very young age, how these things are created and how I can change it. When you open an X-ray tube, you see it if you look for it. You change the plate angle slightly, you get nothing. You change it different. Even in a specific way, you release gamma rays and all sorts of cosmic rays from an X-ray tube. My father used to tell me, "You're crazy, why you do these things?" I said, I have to understand. Every element has a potential to release full spectrum of the field, from hydrogen to plutonium and all their isotopes and other materials, or the interaction of certain materials against each other. It's beautiful if mankind come to understand the beauty of the radiations, how to manipulate them to create fountains of life. Our scientists have a fear of unknown. They call them all sorts of things, but there's a beauty in gamma rays, in X-rays, and cosmic rays. And if you know how to produce it, that allows you to create the next stage for production of the fields you want, gravitational, magnetic, and the rest of it. I'm master in playing fields, creating fields, and targeting what fields I want to create. So don't ever be afraid of radiation. Understand how to manipulate it. Radiations are like jigsaw puzzles you put together. If you get a gamma ray targeting the field of alpha, you see the most beautiful things in the universe. If you get a cosmic rays interacting with beta rays, you see some of the most beautiful fountains of energy you've ever seen in the universe. We see these in the structure of the planetary systems or the stars or galaxies, but we don't understand how these fountains of energy comes. There are majority from radioactive material or radiation, what we call it. We only guess alpha, beta, and gamma. There are millions of them. And the interaction releases fountains of energies we see in the universe. I remember when I was very young opening the first X-ray tubes, and my father used to go nuts. You don't touch this, these are contaminated. I said, they're contaminated to you because you don't know how to handle it. I know what I'm doing. And sometimes he used to sit and watch me baffled. A 9-year-old, 10-year-old boy plays with these tubes, with the X-ray machines. They open it, the liquids in it, the oils in it, all sorts of commotion if you ever open the X-ray tube. The mirrors, the reflectors, the God knows what. But in fact, you can just tilt some things and you go from alpha to gamma and beta and go to cosmic rays in the same tube. Any other question?
Farzam had also mentioned how can we use those elements in the or use those plasmas in the conversion of elements. You kind of answered that. And he also wanted to know the amount of vacuum in our setups.
Which vacuum? Which setup? You think we got to give you a trade secret?
Yeah. You might say that. Yeah, and that would be specific to any particular setup for sure. Paula asks, good morning, Mr. Keshe. Would a mentally disabled person who enters the unit return with normalized cognitive functioning?
I would love to see somebody going through with that. I would love to see the outcome. But if you are mentally impaired, we cannot let you in the system.
Okay, we have a hand up from Jalel.
With 2 questions or 3 questions. Asking that before you give me permission.
Good day, Mr. Cash.
Hi, Jalal. How
Permission,
are you?
police here first, Jalel.
I will not ask a question. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe you can give an answer this time instead.
You brought a very bad habit. People were happy to ask 1 question because of me. Now we get, another one. Oh, another one. Jalal asked so we can ask. Okay, carry on, Jalal.
Okay, Mr. Cash. From Monday, you will open the Pandora box. What we will do with the sandbox?
Just to practice before you get to the Pandora box.
What we will do with the knowledge what we have?
It's part of the technology. You have to add to it and understand more of it. It's not finished just because what we put into the system is an amalgamation of what we have taught you. Why do you give up because somebody else made a machine? You still have to make your own machine. Don't chicken out. I see the discussion in your plasma room, secret plasma chat room.
Yeah, secret. Yeah. You know the secret one.
I explained to one of your team how to convert the maggrav unit's energy into energy, usable energy. And he has not worked it out yet. But
he didn't open it with us.
The new maggrav units coming out of Tehran factory will sort out all your energy problems you had with your magravs. Iranian scientists have been disclosed how to convert it, and now they're working on it. I hope they understood it. But Tehran factory will produce the first cycle of generators, if they understood it correctly. You actually produce electricity, but you give it free away to the electricity board. They produce 1 kilowatts and they sell 2 kilowatts, and you produce that 1 kilowatt for them free.
Back to the transformers.
Yeah, I pull my hair. How many years I've told you what you got to do? Well, somehow nobody understands it.
You know, Mr. Cash, I am very happy, and in a way I am sad.
For what?
Okay, I am happy for what is coming from next Monday and what we're going to open. And I am very sad because when I was there in Linz, nothing came.
Because
wait.
Yeah.
You took me to a ride. You give me something to eat, and bye-bye.
Yeah, because the system was there, we should have let you go in it. As I said, that system, when Linz, the one with the chair in it, has got heavier. Actually, it's very interesting. I think it's something I can tell you for a joke. Because this company which did the lifting for us from upstairs, downstairs, and whatever, they had to bring different machine in. Last week, they have sent us a bill for 16,000 euro. Just to lift the machine, and they had to change it because the machine they had wouldn't lift the same thing or whatever. I think it's part of the bill. So it was there. We couldn't let you go in. We tested it in a way in the original exhibition center when you came. And we saw when we put the system on with the interaction with the environment, with the magnetic field of others, and we had to readjust it. You most probably felt it, but because you're not aware of it, you walked away from it. Only one person has been in the enhancement unit on the operation. And there was a reason for it. And that's the head of the Keshe Foundation, Ella. You've seen the pictures of her being in the system in operation. We blocked people going in. We added weight under the systems for it not to move, but it was adding its own weight to it. You came in, but you are blind to the knowledge. If you pass the system, you already interacted with the system. But this time we let you go in it because we toned it down in a way that it can work. Or we adjusted it that it can work. And it's taken us 2 years to do this. That it could be done. As I said before in the teachings, I stopped going to the lab because it became impossible to finish this job. It was just going from one development to another because as our team were understanding more, we had to tell them more, to add more. And I said, if I go in, at least we get it done and then we can add the rest of the knowledge later on. And what you see is the knowledge up to now, which our team can understand. There's huge elevations and what you call it, modification to the system. And you might come in this time again, Jalal, and feel nothing. But this time you are in charge, not us. What is interesting, in the first few people we put through, we put one at a time through. And then we put 2 at a time through, and then we put 3 at a time through, then we put 4 people at a time through. It's a combination of creation of specific fields which we are looking for, and to see what the effects are. Some of you might pay to come in for one test, but what we see on the results, we will give you and put you 3, 4, or 5 times through the test to become a pilot. Then some of you halfway we might stop you because we don't see any reason for it to go through because it's the wrong intention. So when you come next time, I'll give you a free ride.
Thank you. Happy to be part of this, Mr. Kesh. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Okay, I'm just checking our question list here. We got a few more in the Q&A. Such as Ed says, so when a person sits in the craft, is their soul projected out of it to fly, but still tethered to the body in it?
We are not launched now. They use to the rockets now. We trajectory the souls now. That's not our job. You decide where you want to go. We don't have a soul, what they call it, propulsion rockets.
Soul catapult.
Yeah, you are the captain of your own decision. Any other question?
Dan mentions, when I land in a cave in our mountains, how do I see what's there? Will the light be from me?
Well, first of all, why do you want to go in the cave? Is that your wish? And as John said in Stoke, would you see through the third eye, or what he calls it? There is a race in the universe, very much when it's like, when you put a torch out to sea, this race has created and adopted a special way in the structure of their vision that they can lie through their eyes. In a way, they create a light for their eyes to see what is in front of them when they go into dimension of physicality. It's like not a laser, but it creates a field dimension for them. We call it a light. And they see things in a different way than we look through the eyes of the man as a vision. There's a race which sees only the soul of entities and collection and strength of the soul. When you look at a piece of wood, they don't see it as a wood. They see the soul of every atom. and how they interact. There are very, very special, what do you call it, races which have developed niches are called in their existence. We'll see it now. The Pandora box is open. There is something for sure. One thing for sure is that if during the testing we see our friends from other parts of the universe, we will not reveal their identity when they come out. It's for them to explain if they want. And if you're in a combination flight with the others in the same, when you see this, it's your responsibility to hold the sanctity of the, what we call their wisdom and their life. You are responsible for the safekeeping. You are obliged to respect the integrity of the life in the universe in any shape or form. When we put 4 of you in 2 systems, maybe your own soul doesn't know your dimension because it's become some human dimension converted that is not aware of the origin, the soul of the physicality. And if you manifest, see manifestation of light or other things, just respect it. And you sign secrecy with us, not just with us, with those who are with you in there too. Any other?
Okay.
Let me say something for all of us to understand. The systems we deliver is a universal system, which means to belong to all the citizens of the universe and not exclusively of man. And please respect that. Because then in another system, in another part of the universe, you become that strange thing. How do you want them to treat you? As always said, you're a national as long as you haven't put your foot across the line of the nationhood. You put that, you're a foreigner and you're a stranger. And that's why we created one planet, one nation, that we are all member of one structure and one universe. You will be shocked, a lot of you, with what is come and what is to come and how. As I said to one of our friends, as a serious matter, but not as a joke, is that nowadays you get the Romanians in Vienna, they all go to their own restaurant and their shops. You get the Arabs, they go to their own restaurant and shops. In a very short time coming, we'll have structures like this, which allows the soul of the people from different part of the universe to gather together because now they know who they are. And they stay in the shape as they were in their own original dimension. You might walk into the bar, and then in that bar you'll see a bunch of green things moving around with 20 legs. Respect it, because now you entered to the bar where the citizens of the planet Dick, Bloop, Top, or whatever are there. It's a new game, it's a new change, and we have to learn it very quickly. Prejudices will bring the demise of man. enjoy it, and you will see the beauty of it, because it brings a lot of diversity, and you might even, in a way, don't forget your past, or don't forget your origin, but enjoy the mixture. I always said, mankind, if he understands what is about to come with this technology, becomes like the English people. 40 years ago, the only thing you had in the corner shops was a fish and chip shop. And then they had the curry sauce in it, and people got the taste of the curry sauce, and then the vindaloo sauce, and then the Chinese came, opened up, and now when you go to England, it's one of the most cosmopolitan nations in food in the world. The Indian is next to the Chinese is next to the Somalian and the other one. And the beauty of it is they mix each other's food, and they give you pizza with the curry with the Chinese sweet and sour and something else on the same pizza. And this is how the man should be. We become not cosmopolitan with this new technology of this planet, but become cosmopolitan through the word of the system, universal enhancement system, for the citizens of the universe. Respect each other. Otherwise you pay heavily for it, because you'll be isolated. We have to learn new ways, we have to learn new things, we have to be proud as we are part of the structure, not be racist as we are bits of the structure. Nationalism, racism has no room in the work of the universe. Mankind will find itself soon isolated. And don't do it because you're going to be ashamed or to be shamed. Do it as a pleasure. If you go into the system and you see other races, as we have created a universal field system, embrace them. And thank them for being here to bring you the knowledge. But they do the same when you go to their place. They're all civilized. Any other question? You lots are for a very big shock. As I said to one of knowledge seekers recently, you're going to be hit with a juggernaut, and you don't know how big this juggernaut is, because you were never prepared for it. It's so beautiful. If it wasn't that beautiful what to come, I wouldn't stay here for thousands of years to make sure you have to miss the perfect. Any other question?
Okay, just checking your list here. Dan asks, if there's no time travel, future or past, why can't I access through memory the experience of another soul?
Who said you can't? Find a way with somebody who's prepared to share it with you.
Okay.
You know, we invite people to come to our house and we give them our cultural food. You go to the Indian guy, gives you the curry, and you go to the Chinese guy, gives you the Chinese. Now we have to learn the same thing, but in a universal level. And we go through it very fast. It has to be done very fast, otherwise it creates problems if it's done slow. But please, if you're in the unit and you see things, respect them. Don't run out with pulling your heads. Ah, they're there. I've seen somebody green running around. You never know what he sees in your soul. He should be running before you do.
Good point.
It's gonna happen. You watch, you wait.
Maybe you'll see the green monsters running outside of the machine and going, humans, help.
You know, I always say that movie, the two girls sitting on the branch, one white and one brown. The white one says to the brown one, "Can I lick you? Do taste of chocolate?" So we have to try which chocolate we want to try. And if it is a chocolate, it's just the imagination of us. Any other?
Okay, well, let me see here. Why do we sometimes have lucid dreams?
I don't know.
Okay, another question from Dan. What stage are the reactors in China at which I saw the red lights? And what about the bright plasma sphere reactor you presented?
The collection of the knowledge and the units you are going in for.
San had a question. Let's imagine anything. What about tattoos? Will the soul of the ink particles materialize in some shapes or forms?
I don't know. Would you end up with the same physical body when you arrive? That's a question you can ask yourself.
You have to have a body in order to tattoo it. If it's full of fur, then it'd be hard to tattoo, for example.
Don't know. We shall see. We are in for a very good, beautiful surprise of knowledge and technology.
There was a question about the what is the option with a medical shunt placed behind the ear as far as entering the flight unit?
No, at the moment.
Danilo had a kind of strange question that I've been trying to avoid, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Hello, Mr. Keshe. In one of your past experience on Earth, did they put you on an upside down cross?
Have they done that to you?
That's how I was going to answer him, actually.
As I said, I was talking to one of our knowledge seekers and was talking to the father and explaining what is about to come and what is now coming to Linz. And as I said in another teaching, he said, this is Antichrist. They've said when the Antichrist comes, these things will happen. So we have to wait for the Christ to appear. Now it's time for it. So I don't know if you're the Christ or Antichrist when the system comes up. So we have to wait and see. We've been cross upright or downwards. Any other question?
Yeah, we have a kind of serious question where from Dan, from when these flights are approved, what happens to those in the aeronautical sector, the stewards and pilots, from people in the security sector, airport terminals, all of the
there won't be
infrastructure?
This is a change. There will a lot of change. We are not looking for approval. You're testing it, you approve it. And the system, as we said, we have registered with the Austrian space people in a way that's setting up of the space system. And we are not looking for approval. We are not bringing, it's just you who captain yourself. There's a beautiful law. It says you can do what you like to yourself. So that's why you're the captain. We are not flying you. I used to have a friend, a very dear friend. His name was Nat. And he was a purchaser in our company. We brought him in. He was there. We couldn't bring him in. He was there because he was an uncle of one of our directors. And I battled with him so long. I said, can we buy knives? We are selling spoon and fork in our shops, but we're not selling any knives. We want, he says, no way. As long as I'm here, which he actually stayed to the end, he wouldn't buy a knife. And the very first time I asked him, Nat, why aren't you buying knives? Do you know how much we lose? He said, I sold in the very first shops a knife. Somebody came, bought a knife from us, and he went and killed somebody with it. I don't want to be responsible for it. So a major chain store selling spoons and forks, he used to buy sets without a knife. So it's not us, it's what you do yourself with it, which you are responsible for it. We provide the facility, it's you use it, and you can't misuse it. This technology, this system does not allow it, because you don't work with the physicality, you work with the soul, the condition of the field, which is very different. That's why we call it simulation. You are used to flying in a box or in the back of a cart or a chariot or jumbo jet. Now you learn a new flight system. It's you who decides I'm going to the shop to shop. And then because the soul of physicality and the physicality agree, you get this body moved on the street, you get a bus, you go to the shop, or you get in the car, you go to the shop, you buy what it is. Now, instead of getting out, walking, getting to the car, getting a bus to get to the shopping center, now you take the soul to the shop and then manifest yourself in physicality, and then you do your shopping and you come back the same way. What it take you an hour waiting on the bus stop, sitting 2 hours in traffic jam, now it's a 1 second job. In a very near future, because we've seen this system in other parts of the universe, you will have initially till they make it very much, if you remember the old way and the new way you go to shopping, the old lady used to sit and put the numbers one by one, and then it says it took you 10 minutes to get one trolley because she had to enter everything. And now you go in and just zip it. And now you go to some shops, you put everything in a basket that gives you the price without you doing anything. We go through that technology development and evolution. And then we see the massive, rapid deployment of the new sciences. These are what I'm going to teach you in the next coming months and years. You'll be baffled. You'll laugh with the teaching of today. Mr. Keshe, couldn't you teach us? You took us there and teach us what is today, because you don't understand it. You need to understand. We have to get the majority population to understand that it doesn't become exclusivity, and those who give the message to, they don't abuse it like Moses. Moses was one of the turning points in the education of man for us. The greed of the man killed more in the name of the Creator. If you go by ratio, Moses killed more than Hitler did. So we learn our lesson. So you are the captain, you have to decide. Any other question?
Farzam had an addition to his vacuum question, which was for the CO2 setup that was discussed. Apparently, I think you mentioned something about that a couple of weeks ago. So he's looking for the vacuum setting for that CO2 setup.
It says COU setup.
Okay. You figure it out yourself, basically.
Yes, exactly. Shall we call it a day, or do you want to go into the teaching session? It's nearly 12 o'clock. We've been here over 3 hours.
Okay, sure.
Or shall we stop?
What do you mean going into the teaching session?
If we go, or we leave the teaching to next week. Hopefully, join us next week from Monday. Keep your Zooms open that you might learn something very new as our people go through and we switch on the Zooms. And we allow you to talk or listen to the chat, to the observation, and to the experience of people going. If they don't want to share it, you'll see nothing. But if they want to share it, we open up the Zooms. We don't wake nobody up. We just go to the Zoom channel, record it, and we just added A, B, C, D, and the rest of it. We did that with the testing of the 129 and with the flight system. And now is there for all of us to learn something new. Because you are doing it and you're sharing it. And join us. Please fulfill the 200 number as fast as you can, as you're doing with coming to Linz. It saves you a lot of buying tickets and staying around the airports and hotel and everything else. We bring you and we send you back. You'll have the experience. Thank you very much for today, Rick. And I hope you have a wonderful time, those of you who go through the system and experience new emotions, new feelings, new understanding, and be generous enough to share it. And those of you who listen to it, accept it as the experience of the soul, not the physicality of the man. Thank you very much, Rick. And thank you for your beautiful soul. We'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh, once again. As Mr. Kesh said, there may be broadcasts on Monday coming up next week, and you'll have to stay tuned to posts in social media and so on in order to connect with that. And we also have on Tuesday, we have coming up June 7th, the day after Monday will be the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace and Justice. And that starts at 4 p.m. Central European Time. So we have those.
It'll be, sorry about that, Rick. It will be interesting if that during that time of the Tuesday afternoon, some of the people going through the Germans, I think, booked on the 7th, they will share their knowledge with us, what they went through the system, and Universal Council members learn from what is going to come to them and what they have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it goes if we get to that point, because I'll be monitoring it in the background and see if it is there. We have interesting points. Universal Council members can ask questions from the people if they like to share their experience.
Great, that sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to end with the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit music version. I'm not sure about playing it in a way because the technology is changing so fast that it's becoming almost obsolete, but still love the video, and it still represents the freedom we'll find in our spaceship unit, whether it's in the physicality or in our soul. So thanks everyone for attending today's workshop, and we'll see you in the next public presentation or somewhere else in the universe. Bye for now.